I'm Wesley Morris.
I'm Ty Burr.
And it is time to talk about the town.
The town.
Or the town.
Which is apparently the site where
that's about as good
80% of the crimes that take place in the greater New England area come from one town.
Charlestown!
Don't go there.
Woo, woo. Yeah, apparently...
Okay, it's the new Ben Affleck movie. It's no Gone Baby Gone.
But this is where we start to argue, though, because I actually don't like Gone Baby Gone.
Right.
I have a lot of issues with that movie. I mean, I think
you like this better?
I prefer this movie.
Okay.
I prefer it as from start to finish. It is a well-made. He's a good director.
Here's my feeling: if you approach The Town as a B movie, you're going to say this is actually a pretty good movie. It's well crafted. It tells a story. If you approach it as a big end of year A movie, it's cliche.
It's a crime film.
It's a crime.
As a crime
and it's an okay
film,
crime film.
It's a pretty good crime film.
Right.
And basically, Ben Affleck runs this crew of bank robbers. And they all live in Charlestown. Now, I mean, I've been to Charlestown many times, and I've seen people in this movie who live in Charlestown.
Right.
Like, there's a degree of authenticity about this film, but it does sort of bring me back to my... It does... And the most frustrating thing for me is that it brings me back to my frustration with how Boston is portrayed in movies, which is only as the seediest place in the world
of cheesy
lower class white Irish people.
Right. It's become the new locus of Mean Streets.
Yes. Look out, Compton! Right. There's a new beast in Movie Town.
For me,
it's not. I don't mind that in some ways, but I mean, this is a much more interesting city than
Than what? Philadelphia?
Like low-level Jules Descent movies or something. You know what I mean? It's not like... It's much more interesting as a city than the movie's name.
Well, and coming from the city and having grown up in this city, I look at it. This is a movie that's going to be taken more seriously as a portrait of this city by people who don't live in this city.
Yes.
And that includes Ben Affleck's accent, because he must have gotten his Boston accent beaten out of him at an early age, if he ever had one. Because the one he has in this movie, Jeremy Renner, who plays his best friend, who's not from Boston, has a better Boston accent than Ben Affleck. And in fact,
I guess
to me, Jeremy Renner is Jimmy Cagney in this movie.
Yes,
and he's really good.
He's the hot-headed,
and the one who pulls the gun when he shouldn't. And by the way, Rebecca Hall, the lovely British actress Rebecca Hall, Be Still My Heart, plays the
Why
yuppie.
do men go crazy for Rebecca Hall? I like her fine, but every man is...
we only have a couple of minutes.
I love me some Rebecca Hall.
I've only got a couple minutes. We'll talk off camera.
Okay.
But she plays the yuppie bank teller who he robs and then falls in love with, which and that's when my eyes started spinning.
But that's the whole movie, basically.
Right.
I mean, the entire movie is a setup to get you to the point where she has to make a choice that is perhaps one of the most ridiculous choices.
Yeah, but you said you found it kind of hot.
Ever in the history of movies, and yet, and this is what gets me to the thing I love most about this movie, which is actually Ben Affleck. She is asked to do something that no right-thinking person would do were the person who's asking it not appealing in some way. And in many ways, I do think that this is a brilliant career move for Ben Affleck, who cast himself in this movie and is really, I think, pretty good despite your misgivings with his accent. He is, for the first time, I think, willing to make himself a movie star. And the whole last 10 minutes of that movie are onanistic to say the least. It's he sets himself up as a person that we want to see in a movie. And this is the version of him that I wish he had been giving us.
Maybe, but if it wasn't so surrounded by the trappings of movie starness, and as much there's so much that's Hollywood rather than even Ersatz, real Boston. Including the FBI guy played by John Hamm, who's got a 3-day stubble like everybody else in the movie. Even Rebecca Hall has a 3-day stubble in this movie. Not really, but just everybody does. It's such a cliche at this point that I end up staring at the 3-day stubble more than the person behind.
I didn't have that problem at all. And I really, really liked the fact that Ben Affleck is giving himself to us as he probably should. He's not playing much of a character. He's not playing much of a variation on many of the other people he's played, but he is fully invested in.
Yeah,
in
fine.
this,
I'll give you that. He's not bad.
He's actually really appealing.
He's good. But I couldn't take my eyes off Renner.
Yeah, he's not bad either. I mean, I like this. I like this movie much more than I think you did. I don't think it's that good.
I think it's fine. I think it boils water. I just don't think you should go in expecting great things of it.
It's a bank robber movie. Who's going to think it's that? I don't know.
It's being sold as if
it's being sold like
The Next Departed. It's being sold like the Next Departed.
It's no Heat. It's no Heat.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, which you don't like either.
That's another conversation.
I think Heat is great. It's not as good as Heat. It is almost as good as The Departed.
All right, we'll stop there. Lower your expectations and enjoy what you can. I'm Ty Burr.
How high could people's expectations be? Actually, I just don't know. It is better than every heist movie I have seen in the last 3 or 4 years that was not made in France. I'm Wesley Morris.
High praise indeed. I'm Ty Burr. You can take that one to the bank
and rob it. Actually.